Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Voyage of Oceanus. We are gonna do the epilogue because as you can see, there is only 2 days remaining of this event, and I have yet to do the epilogue. So here we go. It's probably super short. The Voyage of Oceanus Epilogue. As my consciousness gradually awakens from the chaos, my confrontation with the benefactor lingers in my mind, heightening my vigilance as my eyes flutter open. Yet, as I survey my surroundings, I am greeted by a familiar furnishing of my cabin, a sight that has become a comfort to me in recent days. Did he take me back to my room? Before I can gather my wits, a gentle knocking at the door interrupts my thoughts. I appear to have arrived at just the right time. It seems you still have a myriad of questions for me. The very fact that I have awakened in my cabin is a testament to the benefactor's attitude, to some extent. Nonetheless, I compose my thoughts, poised and inquire into the matter weighing most heavily on my mind. You should be able to tell me now, have we arrived at the heart of Oceanus? You're correct. Although there are similar jellyfish in the current oceanic region, it is home to a much sparser population than recorded in the old data, and the specimens we've extracted yield limited insights. So let us discuss a deal, shall we? I'll cure the cartographer. In return, she must chart the course of our return voyage and render the true second half of the map. That's a decision for the cartographer to make. It's not within my power to sway her convictions. No, I believe you can influence her decisions to some degree. The cartographer is a somewhat emotional person, and I hope you can help her analyze the pros and cons of the situation, so she can understand that sometimes living is the only way one can hope to see new opportunities. What about the other passengers? They're oblivious to all this. How do you intend to deal with them? If they stay blissfully unaware during the next leg of our journey, they will soon set foot on land again, still shrouded in ignorance. Consider this a token of my sincerity and advance on the words you should speak on my behalf. And those privy to your secrets, what do you plan to do about them? I have faith in your and the cartographer's discretion, yet let us not forget there exist more expedient solutions to dispel any lingering concerns, particularly given our current location on the vast sea. I'm sure you wouldn't do such a thing. If you had indeed resolved to commit such an act, I wouldn't have been allowed to reopen my eyes here in this room. Is this also part of your deduction, Mr. Collector, or should I say, Mr. Inference? Had I not uncovered your identity, perhaps you truly would have met your end on the deck that day. From the moment I began chasing clues, I've exhibited many behaviors unbecoming of a collector, fully prepared for the eventuality of my unmasking. However, the benefactor's ability to call me by my actual moniker has indeed taken me by surprise. These are but conclusions drawn from observation, though you might call them deductions. For instance, I assume that you've also prepared some sort of deal for me. Consider it a commission, if you will. I want you to thwart a certain scheme. I'll transport you directly to the requisite location. As compensation upon completion of this task, you're free to go. By that time, the decision will be entirely yours if you choose to make these events known to the world or seek to apprehend their designer and pursue legal actions. I never act against my principles. This is by no means a threat, and this commission will not compel you to compromise your principles. I took note of your work during the Golden Rose Theater case. Are you not adept at foiling Melodis' schemes? You mean Desire Melodis? Who else but that Melodis? He's a generous enough investor, having lent considerable assistance to this very voyage, but sometimes I find I need less of his help than he might think. It has come to my attention that he has concocted a new scheme of late, though I'm not privy to the particulars. Regardless, the word on the street is such that you wouldn't want to see it come to fruition. Detective, and as it happens, I share your sentiment and would rather not see things go too smoothly for him either. And what if I refuse? Then I shall persuade the cartographer my way. Mr. Benefactor, you're shaping up to be quite the troublesome client. A detective ought to have faith in his client, should he not? I'll provide you with all the assistance I can. Despite my reservation, I agree to undertake the benefactor's commission, and when the cartographer regains her senses, I play my part in calming her, but I make no grand overtures on the benefactor's behalf, instead merely passing the choice on to her. The cartographer doesn't seem to harbor many moral concerns at all. After a moment's rumination, she accepts the benefactor's proposed terms, and rather than return to the land immediately, she appears even more eager to remain aboard and seek out every vista her father once laid eyes upon. For now, she has first charted us a course back. During our return voyage, the unsuspecting passengers are secretly cured by the benefactor. He seems to possess a poison derived from the toxins found in the creatures of these peculiar waters, and a highly effective antidote to match. To these passengers, it would seem they've merely suffered through an unusual prolonged bout of seasickness, albeit one accompanied by peculiar hallucinations. Upon regaining their sense, these experiences, along with the ship's supposed detour due to being lost at sea, will become fodder for living conversation. The weather has cleared up. Everyone is still mingling in the banquet hall. What brings you to the deck all on your own? The taxidermist's demeanor is utterly unaffected, as if that time spent drifting in a stupor upon the sea were nothing out of the ordinary, maintaining an unspoken truce of tranquility on our homeward course. I've deliberately kept my distance from the unsuspecting passengers, whether for the sake of secrecy or to diminish the presence of my collector identity. Indeed, I ought not to engage in their current discourse, for they're all still discussing the magical creatures of Oceanus, a conversation I have no part in. Why have you left, Miss Taxidermist? Even fewer of the voices down there are refuting the cartographer's views. She still has the spirit to weave her tales, yet I find I can no longer bear to listen. Indeed, the ever-persuasive sea fog and storms, and the ever-present monsters and nightmares, the ship that clearly possessed detailed charts, yet ultimately went adrift, and an incident that ultimately ended in no actual loss of life, their impressions of this voyage could almost rival those of renowned tales from 25 years ago. Even the meteorologist who once staunchly denied Professor Branley's claims now wavers slightly in her skepticism, while the others, they seem utterly consumed by the current discourse. The cartographer, finally finding an audience, is fervently promoting her theories, which are now the most debated topic on the ship. So much so that her casual declaration of having forgiven the marine engineer who allegedly sought to harm her fails to capture anyone's attention. Perhaps once we make landfall, they will become the new storytellers, perpetuating the cycle of tales about storms and monsters, further shrouding Oceanus in mystique. Bound by my agreement with the benefactor, I cannot, nor am I permitted, to disembark at this port of call. I penned them a letter to ease my client's mind and sent a signal to Lady Truth at the agency. The letter states that my mission is complete, but urgent matters require me to be away from the agency. It's clear that the benefactor has examined it closely, yet ultimately he permits it to be sent. It should be sufficient, though my meaning is veiled. I trust Lady Truth will discern the message woven between the lines. The sea breeze billows the decorative sails into full arcs, and the outline of the land is faintly visible in the distance. The voyage of Oceanus draws to a close, leaving all truth and history beneath the surface of the fog-shrouded sea. After a brief respite, I know that I will soon be setting sail again toward the unknown. The end. Yay! We did it. Oh, look at that. File room, room number 1, room number 2. Nice. Oh, this is that. This is this thing. I don't need to do this anymore. I already finished that. Shabam! And we got it. Beautiful. Something I don't need. Very interesting. Oh, man. But he's not going back to the agency, so... I wonder if when we get Crimson, maybe? That'll be like the next story? Could be. I'm glad this one was really short. I mean, I know epilogues are usually short, but who knows? Who knows with this game? It could have been so long still. I have to sneeze. Anyways, I'm gonna be so sad to see this go, but I at least have the skin, so I can always stare at that. And I wonder if we're ever gonna see this Cabinet of Curiosity skin again on him, or maybe when we see him again, he'll have changed, and I don't know. Maybe he'll be with Frederick. Maybe he'll be with him, because it sounds like he wants our help to go against DM. So I guess we'll have to wait and see what happens with that. I have a bottle. Oh, I'm surprised this is still going. I think it's going for like another 20 minutes on my end. Let me check out this bottle. Actually, you know what? Let me just get in here and then I think I'll end it like that when we're inside. I think I'm dancing in the snow. Oh, I am. Look at that. Nice. 1, 2, 3. Look at that. We got a bunch of people here. Look at that. There's Naive. Alright, well, anyways, I'll end it with Dance in the Snow then. Sorry if I just blocked the microphone. But we'll end it right here. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next story. Goodbye, my lovely roses.